Welcome back to another episode of the Inquisitive Mamba Podcast. This is episode 120. I hope everyone is having a great day, great night, wherever you are around the world. On tonight's show for the Inquisitive Mamba Podcast, we are talking about NFL Week 3 recap, preview of the Cowboys-Giants game tonight, Alabama, Georgia, the two juggernauts in college football. Some may say Texas as well, joining the SEC, that Michigan-USC game, Travis Kelce's recent struggles with the Kansas City Chiefs. Are the Kansas City Chiefs the best team in the NFL? Is Josh Allen the best quarterback in the NFL right now? Some WNBA stuff with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever being eliminated last night by the Connecticut Sun, going down 2-0 in a series, which is weird. So we got some NCAA we're talking about, some NFL, Travis Kelce with his recent struggles with the Chiefs, Alabama, Georgia preview. Without further ado, let's get into tonight's show. So a Week 3 NFL recap. Some good games overall. I mean, the Ravens and the Cowboys game, we did that recap on our YouTube channel, the Inquisitive Mamba Podcast on there. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We're almost at 900 subscribers. We did a Chiefs-Falcons recap as well. We did a Chiefs-Falcons recap, Ravens Cowboys recaps. We did those two recaps right there, so make sure to go check those out on the YouTube. But that Ravens-Cowboys game, what a great game, I guess we thought it was going to be. It was America's game of the week. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens had other plans. The Ravens were not going to go 0-3. And the Cowboys, they're 1-2 right now. They're facing the New York Football Giants tonight here, coming up here in about 15, 20 minutes here on the East Coast. Amazon Prime game. The Cowboys have to win tonight. There is no excuses. They have to beat the New York Football Giants. The Giants are kind of depleted at cornerback, and Malik Neighbors has been an absolute stud out of LSU, which everyone expected. But the Cowboys have to win tonight. You can't go down 1-3. The pressure is on Dak Prescott. He signed that $60 million contract. There is no excuse for the Cowboys to lose tonight. They have to win tonight's game. The spread is -5 right now for the Cowboys. If I was a bettor, I would be taking that because the Cowboys can't lose. Their run game has been very sporadic this year with Rico Dowdle, Ezekiel Elliott, and Deuce Vaughn. They're kind of running back by committee there. But CeeDee Lamb has got to take over tonight's game. He's got to be the best player on the field tonight for the Cowboys and the Giants. But going back to Week 3 of the NFL, how about that Bills-Jags game? 47-10 with the Buffalo Bills and the Jacksonville Jaguars. What is going on with Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville? I cannot figure out Trevor Lawrence. Now, this is the guy, obviously, that first-round pick, big home run pick out of Clemson, and he hasn't done anything recently. His last 8 or 9 games, he's just been terrible. So is it time for Mac Jones? Did the Jaguars go out and trade for Mac Jones knowing that Trevor Lawrence has been struggling? If Trevor Lawrence continues to stink it up, will Mac Jones come in at some point? You have to sit there and you have to be realistic because I know Trevor Lawrence signed that massive contract extension this offseason. I think it was $270 million, but you just got embarrassed by the Buffalo Bills going into Buffalo. You have to figure out what's going on in Jacksonville. They're 0-3, and coming into the season, did anyone think the Jaguars would be probably picking in the top 5? Because the way they're headed right now, it's looking that way. And if I'm the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence continues to play this bad, you're going to have to look at Mac Jones. And we know Mac Jones, what he did in New England, his track record isn't the greatest, even though they went 10-7 in his rookie year. And they got to the playoffs and they lost to the Bills. But, you got to sit there and look at it. Is Trevor Lawrence the guy? And what are we surrounding Trevor Lawrence with? You got Christian Kirk. You've got Brian Thomas, you drafted out of LSU. You got ETN as well out of Florida. So, the question remains, is Trevor Lawrence that guy? I think Trevor Lawrence is that guy, but the time is ticking on Trevor Lawrence because now you're 0-3. You can't afford to go 0-4. I'm not sure who they play next game, but the seat is hot for Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson. And could Doug Peterson be fired if this season continues the way it goes? I know Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia back in 2018 with the Philly special and the Nick Foles, that short time there, and they brought him in. But, the question remains, is Doug Peterson that guy? Because they fired Urban Meyer and they brought in Doug Peterson for them to revitalize the culture because the whole Urban Meyer situation was a mess. We all know what happened there. And now you look at it and you go, well, what's going on here? So that's an interesting one there with the Jaguars and the Bills. But I want to stick here on the Jaguars. I want to stick here on the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen has always been that guy, folks. It's not changed. Yes, Josh Allen turns the ball over. I've had this conversation so many times with people. Even last year I had this conversation. Josh Allen has always been that guy. It's always been him and Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow it's been the 1, 2, and 3. But you can flip-flop and pick which you want. But if you're going to sit here and tell me you're an NFL GM out of 32 NFL GMs, You're going to pick Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes? No, you're not. Josh Allen is not the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Everybody knows that. It's still Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes has been, not is his normal self this past season, but it's still very early. But sticking here on Josh Allen, he's always been that guy. The only reason why the Buffalo Bills are relevant is because of Josh Allen. No other reason why. I also too think this. I have this feeling here about Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I think the best thing that the Buffalo Bills could have done was trade Stephon Diggs because he was a diva. He was causing so much ruckus. He was causing so much turmoil, so many issues. I want the ball. Give me the ball. The diva receivers. I need the ball. Me, 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 me. No. Team, 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 team. Look at what Josh Allen has been able to do with Joe Brady this season with James Cook, spreading the ball around, getting everyone else involved. Khalil Shakir, Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid, Matt Collins, Curtis Samuel. The offense is being able to be spread around. You're able to mix and match. You're able to give sporadic. You're able to give the ball and share it accordingly, right? Whereas Stephon Diggs last year, it was all about Diggs. And Davis was the wide receiver too. I know they lost Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, but now you don't have to worry about that. You can sit there and you can give the ball accordingly. You can spread the ball around. There's not as much pressure on Josh Allen as there has been in the past because I've got to get Stephon Diggs the ball. Oh no, Stephon Diggs is going to be mad. Oh no, Stephon Diggs is the wide receiver one. He's our guy. So there's not as much pressure on Josh Allen. I think he feels more comfortable now that he's able to give the ball accordingly to his teammates. And Joe Brady has made it easier for him to call. Josh Allen hasn't turned the ball over like he has in recent years. Everyone's like, Josh Allen's a turnover machine. He's so overrated. He's this, he's that. Well, if you put Josh Allen's stats next to that guy's stats, Josh Allen's always been that guy. It's never going to change. Now, can he get the Bills to the promised land? Well, the Kansas City Chiefs are still in the AFC. Yes, the Baltimore Ravens, who the Buffalo Bills are going to play this Sunday night. That is going to be the Buffalo Bills' first true test because they played the Cardinals week 1, and they played the Dolphins, which was the Tua injury, which was the crazy game there. And then they just beat the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. So when you sit there, this is the Buffalo Bills' first true test. Now, all that stuff could go out the window about Josh Allen this season. But right now, Josh Allen is the MVP of the NFL. And I know we're only 3 weeks in, but if he continues this pace and he continues to win these big games, like let's say he wins Sunday night, the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen win Sunday night against the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, that's going to continue to help Josh Allen with his case. Now, it's very early for the future bettors out there, and Josh Allen's the MVP of the NFL. No, Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the NFL. It's Patrick Mahomes 1, Josh Allen 2. The rest, you can go whoever you want, or you can go 1A, 1B. I personally, it kind of interchanges, right? Everyone always goes from Joe Burrow to Josh Allen, Joe Burrow to Josh Allen. It's Mahomes 1, then it's Burrow, then it's Allen. Those two are interchangeable right there. But the way Josh Allen has played this season, he is the second best quarterback in the NFL. And yes, Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL. So let's shut that narrative down right now. It's still Mahomes. It's his crown for somebody else to take. And we shall see. Maybe it's Josh Allen after this season, but Josh Allen would have to win a Super Bowl this season. Josh Allen would have to win an MVP. And I still don't think he would be able to catch Patrick Mahomes in recent years. Mahomes is still the guy. Let's shut that narrative down real quick. Because sticking on the Chiefs, though, Travis Kelce. We've talked about Travis Kelce recently on the podcast with the whole Taylor Swift effect. It's the Taylor Swift effect that Travis Kelce has been playing bad. I've said this in clips. I've said this in videos. Travis Kelce and the Taylor Swift thing has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. I don't really even think it has anything to do with age. Defensive coordinators are finally catching up and realizing what they have to do to stop Travis Kelce, because everyone always sits there and goes, well, you can double team Travis Kelce. Well, you can put a safety on Travis Kelce. Well, you can, Travis Kelce may come over the middle, or Travis Kelce may run a stick route, and you may have the linebacker sit, and you may have the safety wait, that double team. But defensive coordinators are starting to figure him out. Or the other side of the coin is Travis Kelce is getting up there in age. I know I just said that, it doesn't have anything to do with age, but it's a week-to-week matchup in the NFL. Defensive coordinators are going to scheme differently, different matchups. Like I said, he didn't do that great against the Falcons, which I thought he would do much better, but they played the Chargers this week, and you rest assured Jim Harbaugh will be making sure that he puts his glue onto Travis Kelce. Now, Derwin James is out this week because of the player safety, and he got suspended this week for targeting, basically. So maybe the Chiefs have the advantage there, but I'm sure Jim Harbaugh's a genius. He'll know exactly what he wants to do. And Andy Reid shut that narrative down right away. Travis Kelce's not washed. Travis Kelce's offseason stuff has not been a distraction. It is simply football. It's a week-to-week matchup. Travis Kelce could go out this week and have an absolute emphatic game, and everyone's like, oh my God, Travis Kelce's not washed there. But to sit here, is Travis Kelce out of shape? No, I don't think Travis Kelce's out of shape. I think people forget to realize that it is 3 weeks into the NFL season for Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs, and players are allowed to have fun in the offseason. Players are allowed to do what they want in the offseason. It's just like somebody else working a normal job. It's like when you're off those hours, you can do whatever you want. Now, if your performance if your performance is poor on the field, and then of course people are going to sit there and go, oh my god, everything he did in the offseason, oh my gosh, everything, all the acting stuff that he's done, oh my gosh, all the traveling he's done all around the world, or oh, all the time he spent with Taylor Swift. He's allowed to do that. I know I ripped him last year on the podcast because he went to the World Series game in Texas when the Chiefs were playing the Broncos. But that's also in the NFL season. Now I get it. He's after hours. He's not on the job, but that's totally different than what's going on right now. So let's shut that narrative down right now about the Travis Kelce. Is he out of shape? Is he washed? Does he care about football? Because there was a viral clip about Travis Kelce sitting there looking like he was missing Taylor Swift on the sideline with the Falcons. It has nothing to do with that. He's a football player. And if Travis Kelce wasn't in this extreme spotlight because of Taylor Swift, people would give him guff. People would give him, issues basically because of what's going on in the first 3 weeks of the NFL. But it would be nowhere near as much as the publicity that he gets because of Taylor Swift. And everyone knows that, but it has nothing to do with the Taylor Swift effect. Travis Kelce is going to be just fine. And everyone's concerned about the Kansas City Chiefs because they've won they're 3-0, but they're very in all these tight games and their offense doesn't look the same. And Travis Kelce doesn't look the same. It's 3 weeks in. There's a lot of time left. We'll see against the Chargers this week. Maybe the Chiefs are not as good as they were put out to be, but from what I saw week 1 against the Ravens, this Kansas City Chiefs team from week 1 against the Ravens, I know it was only week 1, they looked better than they did last year, and I know they won the Super Bowl, and how can you say that? But their defense looks better, even though they lost L'Jarius Sneed. They're playing all these tight, close games, but that's what championship teams do. They find a way to win. The Kansas City Chiefs have been able to find a way to win. Mahomes has been able to help the offense in certain ways that you wouldn't think he would be doing in the past. Like, yes, Rashee Rice has been the juggernaut there. They're missing the Travis Kelce spark. There was a few plays in the Atlanta Falcons Kansas City Chiefs game that Travis Kelce was able to get the ball, and it looked like the Mahomes Kelce magic. It looked like the old vintage style Chiefs, even though Mahomes isn't even that old, but Kelce's been there. This is the 12th season. But that whole narrative about Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce was ripped by former ESPN analysts. Some wonder if he's still interested in football. Travis Kelce's 100% interested in football. Just because he's had a bad few weeks, it doesn't mean he's not interested in football. Like I said, it's a week-to-week matchup. It's a scheming thing. Defensive coordinators are going to plan accordingly for Travis Kelce so he doesn't get the ball, so he doesn't kill their team, because we know what happens when Travis Kelce gets the ball. Everyone's like, why is this guy always open? He's always open. So, but how about this, though? Let's talk about the Commanders and the Bengals. Oh my goodness, the Commanders ended up beating the Bengals 38-33. Is it time to hit the panic button on the Cincinnati Bengals? I think it is, because, the way the Panthers played last week and the whole Bryce Young, Andy Dalton saga, and now the Cincinnati Bengals are going to have to play the Panthers. And what is going on with the Cincinnati Bengals? Because that was a game you had to win. 0-3 is very tough. I don't remember the stat, but there's a stat where there's only been 4 teams that have made the playoffs is starting 0-3 in a certain time frame. But yes, the panic has hit on the Cincinnati Bengals. You have to hit that red button. Has Zach Taylor's seat gotten warmer? Maybe it has, but Joe Burrow, he's doing everything he can. Their offensive line still drives me crazy. And then Trent Brown, obviously he got hurt with the patellar tendon. He's out for the year. Now Amarius Mims, the rookie tackle out of Georgia, is going to fill his spot. But this is the game against the Panthers. You have to win. But yes, it is a 100% time to hit the panic button on the Cincinnati Bengals. And the question remains is, you're going to have to sit there and go, what's going on with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? Because Jamar Chase had a hell of a game against the Commanders on Monday Night Football. But let's flip the script real quick to Jayden Daniels and the Commanders. I've loved Jayden Daniels since he was at LSU. He was great there. But I think fans and people tend to forget that Jayden Daniels is in a very comfortable pro style offense, college style offense with Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury is the quarterback offensive coordinator. He's the offensive coordinator for the Commanders. He was at USC with Caleb Williams. He was with the Patriots before. He was with Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M. He was with Kyler Murray when he was the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. I actually got a chance to meet Cliff Kingsbury. Great, cool guy, by the way. He's been around football for a long time. He knows how to work with these young rookie type quarterbacks. He's making the offense a lot more comfortable for Jayden Daniels, Brian Robinson, Terry McLaurin, which Terry McLaurin's an absolute dog. But yeah, I mean, the rookie of the year award is Jayden Daniels to lose. The way he's been playing, I mean, last game was ridiculous. He had the highest completion percentage by a rookie ever. I think it was 90%, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that Bengals Commanders game, first game since 1940 with no punts or turnovers. That's absolutely insane. But sticking here on Jayden Daniels, he's got all the tools, he's got all the mechanics, he's got all the intangibles to be successful in the NFL. But Jayden Daniels is playing a game where he's not sitting back in the pocket. He's not going to shred you apart. He's going to roll around. They're going to mix and match. They're going to roll him out. They're going to do this. They're going to do that with him to make him more comfortable. Like, kind of like how Lamar Jackson was when he first got into the NFL, even though they said he couldn't throw and he was only a running back. But this situation couldn't get any better for Jayden Daniels and the Commanders. And Dan Quinn is a great defensive-minded coach. We remember with the Seahawks when he was there, and then he was the Cowboys DC, and their defense was great. So this is the perfect situation for Jayden Daniels. You've got that offensive mind in Cliff Kingsbury, and it helps Jayden Daniels. And I think Jayden Daniels is already that guy. Now, I don't think he's the best rookie quarterback. I still think it's Caleb Williams, and we can get into Caleb Williams here in a few minutes. I still think it's Caleb Williams. Now, that remains to be seen the way the Bears have been playing these past few weeks. But overall, I mean, great game from the Commanders and the Bengals. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better Monday night game. I mean, that was awesome, right? But let's move on to the Colts and the Bears game. The Colts ended up winning 21-16. That was one of the ugliest football games I've seen in a long time. And I know you're saying, how is it ugly with there's no bad weather? Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson, I didn't even know what happened during that game. I was expecting some fireworks, right? Well, no, you couldn't have, because the Bears have no offensive line. Their Bears offensive line is failing Caleb Williams, as well as their coaching staff with their offensive coordinator. I mean, that's a given. Caleb Williams has the raw talent. He has the Mahomes magic. He has the ability to roll out. He's missing Keenan Allen right now because he's been out with a hamstring. He's on track to play this week, but I think Caleb Williams is that guy. I think he is going to be that guy. I think it's going to take some time with the pieces around him, like DeAndre Swift. They've got DJ Moore. Keenan Allen hasn't played yet. Cole Kmet, but their offensive line is still very shaky. When you don't have an offensive line for a young rookie quarterback like that, when he doesn't have time to sit back in the pocket and he's trying to make guys miss and he's trying to, go this way and go that way and roll around and backpedal and go this way and that way, very tough, because it's not like how it was at USC when he could make other guys look like they don't belong on the same field with him. Everybody in the NFL is just as fast. Everyone in the NFL is just as athletic. Everyone's all got the smarts. They know exactly what they're trying to do and how their defensive coordinators, as well as the Colts players, are trying to game plan against Caleb Williams. But let's move on here to the Indianapolis Colts with Anthony Richardson. I love Richardson. He's out of Florida. Of course, I'm gonna be a homer for him, but I haven't seen it yet. I really haven't. I don't think he's fully developed, but it's also very tough with the Indianapolis Colts to sit there because he is not fully developed, right? But the play calling they're calling for the play calls and the play calling for him, it's not working. Richardson is not a sit back in the pocket guy. He's not going to sit back there and pick you apart like a Manning, like a Brady, like a Breeze. He's got to be able to move around. You got to give him the Russell Wilson treatment. You got to be able to move him around. He's not going to sit back in the pocket. He's not going to pick you apart. They have some pieces. I'm still a little concerned about their offensive line. I know they have Quentin Nelson, and they've got A.D. Mitchell, the rookie out of Texas. They've got Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor, who's able to alleviate the pressure off of Anthony Richardson. But that red zone interception from Anthony Richardson was so ugly. That was one of the ugliest interceptions I've ever seen watching the game. He rolls out, he kind of panics a little bit, he kind of herky jerks it, and then lightly throws it into the end zone. And I'm like, that's an interception. But Joe Flacco is the guy, the veteran quarterback sitting there with him, and Shane Steichen is their head coach. But, I don't know, Richardson shouldn't be benched, but he's got to know not to make those mistakes, but he's not fully developed. So that's another thing with Anthony Richardson, is he's not a pocket passer. He's not going to be able to sit back there and pick you apart. Josh Allen, when he first came into the league, he had an ugly first year in the NFL. So it's going to take time, but these project guys take time. I mean, he was out of Florida. He didn't even have a ton of reps at Florida. So when you sit there and you criticize and critique Anthony Richardson for his bad play, he hasn't had a lot of reps. So you're going to see raw Anthony Richardson, and this is what you're going to see. Now, if he doesn't improve, then yes, Anthony Richardson should 100% be benched. But let's talk about the surprise of the NFL. Sam Darnold. Everyone knows who Sam Darnold is. He was that stud out of USC. The Jets drafted him with that high pick. He's kind of been a journeyman. He went to the Jets, then he went to the Panthers, and then he went to the Niners, and now he's found his home on the Vikings, and all of a sudden, because J.J. McCarthy got hurt. But this is a perfect situation for Sam Darnold. You got Justin Jefferson. You got Aaron Jones. You got a great offensive mind in Kevin O'Connell. And Sam Darnold leads the NFL in touchdown passes. He the Vikings dominated the Texans last week 34-7. They beat the Niners the week before. Is it time to start taking the Minnesota Vikings seriously? Well, they're going to play the Packers this week, and it remains to be seen if Jordan Love plays. But I think Sam Darnold's always been that guy. I just don't think he's had the right opportunity. I know the Jets drafted him, and everyone was like, Sam Darnold's seeing ghosts because he was terrible in the AFC, and Darnold was supposed to be that next guy. But maybe the best thing happened to Darnold is to go to the Minnesota Vikings. I know he backed up Brock Purdy last year, and he came in, here and there. We kind of saw like some flashes of Sam Darnold that we've seen in the past. But now what we're seeing with Sam Darnold is like, is he the guy? Like, should a team want to try to should a team try to pay Sam Darnold this offseason if he continues to play like this? Because we know how it is in the NFL. You win one playoff game or you make the playoffs, you get paid in this way at the NFL. Now, the Vikings are going to ride out Sam Darnold. I would say maybe a team should trade for Sam Darnold, but that's not going to happen, obviously, because the way he's been playing, I mean, he has been sensational. Did anyone see this coming with Sam Darnold? I don't know. Maybe it's a fluke. Maybe it's these first 3 games. We'll see this first. They played the Niners and the Texans, 2 Super Bowl technical contenders. So we'll see this week against the Packers what he brings, because if he balls out again, he's gonna put himself in the MVP conversation. The Minnesota Vikings defense has also played exceptional. Brian Flores has those guys playing their tails off. Brian Flores, if he continues the way this goes out this season, he will be a head coach in the NFL next season. Let's preview it. Let's talk about the Alabama-Georgia game. I cannot wait for this game. 7:30 in Tuscaloosa. No Nick Saban. It's Kirby Smart and Kalen DeBoer. These are the two, arguably the 2 best teams in college football. We can go there. Arguably the 2 best teams in college football. Sorry, we had a light malfunction there. Arguably the 2 best teams in college football with Kalen DeBoer at the head coach and Kirby Smart as the head coach. Jalen Milroe, Carson Beck. This is going to be an absolute juggernaut of game. Donald Trump is going to be there. For all you political fans out there, going to be a great game. But let's talk about my prediction, my preview. Georgia and Alabama played last year in the SEC championship, and most people didn't even think Alabama was going to beat them. Now, this is a total different Alabama team. This is another year with Jalen Milroe, a lot of inexperienced wide receivers. And the thing about the Georgia hasn't lost a game in God knows how long. So the thing about this Alabama Georgia game is how can Georgia go into Tuscaloosa? What can they do to help their case, right? Because they almost lost to Kentucky. This is going to be an absolute great game. I've got Alabama winning at home. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I think these 2 teams know each other very well. And I've got Alabama winning this game by 3 points. I've got Alabama winning this game in Tuscaloosa, beating Georgia in a very, very tight game. And I cannot absolutely wait. So put your prediction in the comments. We're going to put this up on YouTube. I cannot wait to see what everyone thinks about this Alabama-Georgia game, because when was the last time Alabama and Georgia played in the regular season? I can't remember it. I mean, we know they played each other in the SEC championships, but 2 of the best teams in college football going at it. No Nick Saban. It's the Kalen DeBoer, Kirby Smart show. I can't wait. Roll Tide, Georgia Bulldogs. It's going to be a great one. How about this, though? Michigan beating USC with their quarterback only passing for 32 passing yards, Alex Orji, beating Miller Moss and USC. What a game that was. I mean, that was insane. I couldn't believe it. I looked at my screen. I was like, 32 passing yards. I mean, Michigan was playing like it was like the 1930s. I mean, running the ball like crazy. I mean, I was shocked. Are Michigan contenders? I don't think Michigan are contenders. I really can't put them there. I wouldn't consider them a top 10 team. I'm not there. I think there's way too many good college football teams this year to really put Michigan in that category. But I mean, they are right at 11. They ended up winning 27-24. So we'll see. It was USC's first big true test in the Big Ten, their first road game going to the Big Ten. So I mean, I don't know what happened to USC. I mean, it was a good game for the most part, but Michigan prevailed. They had that crazy touchdown run at the end there, but definitely excited for the rest of the way for Michigan and how they'll play, because, they are 11, USC is 12, and anything can happen, but I don't think Michigan are contenders, not with your quarterback passing for 32 yards. I mean, you can't sit here and tell me that they're a contender with 32 passing yards. We're not there yet, but we're going to move on to the WNBA. The Indiana Fever officially out. They lost to the Connecticut Sun 2-0, which is a weird thing to say. 2-0. That's considered a sweep in this WNBA best of 3 series. But Caitlin Clark, she had arguably the greatest rookie season of all time. I know some people would say Candace Parker because she won the MVP and the WNBA Rookie of the Year, but Caitlin Clark was the AP Rookie of the Year, unanimous, which she deserved. I still don't know how Angel Reese got 4th place in MVP voting. That's asinine. Shout out to Caitlin Clark, the first rookie to record a triple-double, most assists in a WNBA season, record for most threes by a rookie, fastest player to 500 points and 200 assists, and she helped the Fever lead their first playoff appearance since 2016. Caitlin Clark just had one of the greatest statistical sports season by a rookie in recent sports history. Now, there's been other rookies in other sports. I totally understand that. But her rookie season, her statistics, her play is just off the charts. And I think the future is bright for the Indiana Fever. It remains to be seen what they'll do with their players in the offseason. Of course, Clark will be back. I'm sure Kelce Mitchell will be back. Aaliyah Boston, Nalissa Smith, Lexi Hall, they're starting 5 there. And it remains to be seen if any, veteran type players want to come play with the Fever. I know, the Fever are arguably the most hated team in the WNBA after the whole racist comments with their fans last night and how the Sun were handling that. But hats off to the Fever on a great season. I don't think anybody expected them to make the playoffs after starting 1-8. They had a tremendous second half of the season. That Olympic break was much needed. But Caitlin Clark, she just completely changed around the WNBA culture, and she completely changed around the Indiana Fever's culture for the future. And the future is bright for the Indiana Fever. And I'm so happy that Caitlin Clark came into the WNBA light, and fans get to actually watch her and see what she brings to the table, because it was special to watch all year long. And I can't wait to see what's in store for the future for her and this upcoming season next year. I know there's 4 teams left in the WNBA postseason. You've got the New York Liberty, you've got the Las Vegas Aces, you have the Connecticut Sun, and you have the Minnesota Lynx. Those 4 teams there, those are 4 great teams there as well. So the WNBA rest of the playoffs are going to be great, the postseason. And, we'll see if A'ja Wilson can win another championship. She'll solidify herself as one of the greatest of all time too. So this rest of the WNBA season is going to be one for the books. But shout out to Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever on a great season. I am super excited for the Fever and their rest of the way. But let's talk about the controversial Dejanay Carrington and the Caitlin Clark poke in the eye. Well, if you look at it, if you tell me Caitlin Clark was 100% poked in the eye and that looked intentional. If you watch the playback, Caitlin Clark shot the jumper and Dejanay Carrington was putting her hand up and then her fingernail kind of poked her in the eye. Now, I know Clark came out and said it wasn't intentional. That was 100% intentional. And I think that the game would have been a lot closer, game 1, if Caitlin Clark didn't get poked in the eye. I know she tried to shut the narrative down that it wasn't. I understand it's basketball and basketball can get dirty, but that doesn't look like a basketball play to me. When you're up in the air like that and then your hand slowly goes in, that looks intentional. That looks dirty. You know what? And in recent years, other players have been suspended for like that. It doesn't matter anymore because the series is over. And they didn't call any flagrant. They didn't call any sort of foul on that at all. I think that's a bunch of horse shit. I still can't believe that. But that's a wraps for the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark on the WNBA season. We talked about the NFL. We have to talk about this here. The Miami Dolphins. Let's go back to the NFL here real quickly. What are the Miami Dolphins doing? Tua Tagovailoa is out for a minimum of 4 games. You're going to play the Titans this week. You just got bombshelled by the Seattle Seahawks last week. You can't go and get a quarterback on the market. I know they went out and got Snoop Huntley. He hasn't even played yet. Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle are arguably the 2 worst quarterbacks in the NFL. You can't go make a trade for a legit veteran. You can't try to go ask Ryan Tannehill to come back. You can't try to trade for Mac Jones. You can't try to trade for somebody that's worth a damn, because Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle aren't cutting it. I don't know what the Miami Dolphins are doing. 2 things for the Miami Dolphins. They should either blow it up this season, because we don't know when Tua is coming back. He's out for a minimum of 4 games. Or you should try to go get yourself a veteran quarterback, because you still have pieces on that roster where you can actually somewhat, I guess, compete, because there are pieces. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Ramsey, the defense. There are pieces there. So when you sit there and tell me what are the Dolphins doing, this is an attest to Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, the head coach, and Chris Greer, the GM, because you're going to sit there and tell me the Dolphins can't go get somebody that's somewhat something. They're going to sit here with Tim Boyle and Skylar Thompson. That's not going to do anything for you. They got absolutely dominated by Seattle. So I don't know what the Dolphins are doing. They need to go get a quarterback, because trade for somebody, because clearly what's going on right now is not working. But yeah, it's clearly not working. So overall, I mean, I think that really does it for us. I mean, for the most part, actually, this one here is for the Swifties. Just about a year ago, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce made their appearance in the NFL game with the Chicago Bears. Excuse me. Taylor Swift made her appearance with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chicago Bears September 24th, 2023. The rest is history for the Swifties. She's gone to 15 games. Now, will she go to the Chargers in the Chiefs game this weekend? It's in LA. I know the Swifties got mad at me on TikTok for that, but will she be at the Chargers and the Chiefs game? It's in LA. It's a big market. We shall see. She didn't go to the Atlanta Falcons game, but no, like I said, it's been awesome to, go back and forth with the Swifties on social media and TikTok. But yeah, 2023 September 24, 2023 was her first game against the Chicago Bears, and everyone was like, oh my god, are they together? And we've all know the rest is history from there, and people were trying to go off the narrative they're not together anymore because she wasn't at the game. That's a bunch of BS. But like I said, I mean, I really think that does it for us. I mean, we hit on the WNBA with Caitlin Clark's with the Indiana Fever. We talked a little bit of the NCAA with the Alabama Georgia preview coming up, some Michigan, USC. We talked about Trevor Lawrence's struggles in Jacksonville. Is it Mac Jones time in Jacksonville? The Miami Dolphins, what are they doing at quarterback? We talked about the week 3 recap of the NFL. We talked to preview a little bit of the Cowboys and the Giants. Is there pressure on Dak Prescott and the Giants? That game is currently going on right now. And shout out to Jaden Daniels and the Commanders for their superb play on Monday night. Jaden Daniels with that completion percentage and how he played was insane. But yeah, guys, as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube, the Inquisitive Mamba Podcast, Spotify, the Inquisitive Mamba Podcast, YouTube, the Inquisitive Mamba Podcast, Apple Podcast, the Inquisitive Mamba Podcast, TikTok, the Inquisitive Mamba Pod. And shout out to Monaco Cocktail for this hat here. As you guys can see, we are wearing a hat tonight, sponsored by them. They sent us this hat. So make sure to check out their website as well. I'll put their link down below. But yeah, I think that does it for us. And we will see you guys next time. Let's go.